All right, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today we are working on a 2017 Chevy Trax and servicing the air conditioner. It started blowing hot air, so it definitely needs a recharge, but this will work for basically every car that's out there that needs a charge. First things first, these little cans of air with sealant and stuff like that, I mean, they work good, but honestly, they're garbage. It's going to be a temporary fix to a probably simple problem, and this is something you can probably definitely do on your own. You just need a couple things. One, you definitely need a gauge kit and a vacuum pump. They're pretty simple to get. I got this set from Amazon. It was relatively inexpensive, so definitely worth getting. You also will need a tank of 134A. You don't need something that big, but you'll need something that's enough to be able to handle this job. Now, on your car, it's either going to be here in the front somewhere, or it's going to be up here. And this is basically your refrigerant, and on this label it says it takes a 0.440 kilograms of 134A. So that basically translates to 15.5 ounces is what the whole system takes. And there's different conversion computers online that you can find and stuff to help you out with that. But anyway, how you set up your manifold. So each manifold has two sides to it. An open side, and then you're going to have one that has like a little push valve in. So you have little straighter valves on the bottom of your gauge set. So you want to make sure that you put this little gauge set in on the right side, open side to open side. And you don't have to like He-Man crank the fittings down, but you want them snug. Okay. Next, you're going to need, it's a valve kit. I also got this from Amazon, because what happens is you have these little charge valves. Here's the high side on this end, so we'll put the little H up there, and then down below here, it's a little air piece that comes out. And put that off to the side here, and then this is the low side that's down here. Hopefully you can see down in there. And what happens is I'll put that there for safekeeping. The valves, the core valves, actually they go bad. They have little seals on it, and if you can see in here, they all have like these little rubber seals. That's green, that's red, that's black, and those seals go bad, and it starts leaking out. So you got to clean my gloves up a little bit. Oh, also make sure you're wearing gloves and safety glasses for when you're doing this stuff. All right, so basically, I'm going to draw a vacuum, and basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be evacuating any refrigerant that's left in the system, and they come with these little quick valves that you can put on, and low is blue for the low side, so I'll put that on. The little snap fittings that go on, and it's basically, it is almost impossible to mix them up because they're sized accordingly. And that's okay. And then your vacuum side, you want to go to your vacuum pump here. And if your system is completely full, you definitely want to bring it to a place to be serviced and have them vac the system out, then come home, and then you can like fill it up yourself. Anyway, so open the valves here and here. No readings yet because you got to open these valves here. So open that side, the low side. Then we'll open the high side. All right, so definitely got some stuff going on in the system now. So I'm actually going to go bring this and get this serviced and taken out, and then we'll vac whatever's left in the system completely out, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so, and if you can see the gauges, they're both at 0. No need to pull a vacuum yet because we just wanted to get the pressure out of the system. So we got that completed. So now we are going to disconnect this line to make life a little easier. take that line off. That line off. Now we're going to basically be getting our valve tool. And I think I like using this one out of the kit. Alright, so we're going to get the lower one first. And it's just like getting a bicycle tire out. Straighter valve out of a bicycle tire, so it should be in there a little on the snug side. So again, even though we're close to zero, there's going to be some pressure left off inside there. So we pull that out. Now they're usually color indicated, but you always want to just make sure you got the right valve. Like this one's black, and you want to match them up to see which valve is going to work. It's going to be the closest match to it. And they're all pretty much standard. So that one's got a clear valve. This one's green. So I just like to kind of like match them up and see which one's gonna be the best here. So they're all roughly about the same. So since we'll put the green valve in there, and that's closest to what was in there. So we'll do that. Put that valve down there. I'll put the new one in. Screw it down so it's like, it's snug. You don't have to He-Man tight it. Alright, getting this valve up here, same thing. Alright, so you're going to have a bigger valve that's on that side. So this should be black. Should probably be this replacement valve. So you can see that. So I'll put the new core valve in up here. And some of that green dye you see, it looks like somebody probably tried to diagnose this system once before and put some stuff in there. But anyhow, that is your two valves that are no good. That was quick and easy. That's your valve core set. Replug my battery pack in here. Okay, so we're all replugged back in. All right, now we're going to put our charge valves back on. That's going to be the low. And this one's going to be the high. And actually, we really don't need the high anymore, but we're going to just keep track of the pressure as we're filling that up. Okay, now we're going to run a vacuum on it one more time, and we're going to check to make sure that the system overall holds a vacuum. Make sure these are open. So what's going to happen now is it's going to draw all the moisture out of the system, and you'll actually see your needles drop down below zero as it creates a vacuum in there. And we'll just wait till it gets down as low as it can go. Okay, so it's been running for probably a few minutes, and you can see this one is definitely just about as low as it's going to get on the H side, the hot side. It's basically below zero on the vacuum, and here it's just about at 30. So we're going to turn the vacuum pump off, and one thing you want to watch is the needle will move back just a little bit, but you want to just make sure that it doesn't like rush back. If it rushes back, then you know that you have a leak in your system, and you're going to have to look for something a little bit more. Use that UV dye and then see if there's actually a leak in the overall system. So right now it looks like it's holding a vacuum, so we're going to like walk away. We'll come back in, let's say like another like 20 minutes to make sure that that continues to stay put and that needle doesn't move. Okay, so as we can see, it's holding a vacuum, so I'm confident that the valves were what was actually leaking on its overall system. So we replaced them, so we should be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually disconnect this line here. And this is the one that's hooked up to that Schrader valve. So it's actually going to keep a vacuum in the system while we disconnect this, and then we are going to go to our coolant. Now this has a, this is the scale. Let me move the scale closer so we can put the meter here so we can watch it. Now, like I said, look for on your car where that's going to be, and on ours it's right here. So we need 0.44 kilograms, which we converted. It's 15.5 ounces, and we are going to use our tank. And again, make sure you're putting the open side down on this valve here. Right, and I needed an adapter for this tank, so in case you don't have one, you're going to need one. Okay. Okay. Make sure we're connected. I'm going to put this upside down on our scale. We're going to let that open up. I'm going to put this on here. First, we're going to close these valves, so we're not going to let any vacuum out of the system. I'm going to put this little valve here. Now we're going to open this valve on the tank. I don't feel like go hog wild, just open it up a little bit. We're going to turn our scale on, and we're actually going to zero the scale out so it's 0. So when we add refrigerant, it's actually going to show as a negative number, and when it shows up as a negative number, that will actually go down to our negative 15.5, which means it goes from 0 to negative 15.5. That's the amount that's going to actually be in there. So right now I'm going to open this up a little bit, and we're just going to give that a little puff, and that makes sure that that has the vacuum intact. We're going to open just the low side. We're going to keep the other side closed and zero this out, and then it's going to start letting refrigerant in the system. Now at this point I'm going to actually turn the system on so the compressor starts getting ready to turn over. Put the air conditioner, put the fan on high, and you want to put like the cooling level down all the way. AC is on. Then we're going to turn the temperature down all the way. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so the refrigerant's starting to flow into the system. You kind of watch the countdown. We're going to go for negative 15.5. And if you heard, you just heard the compressor kick on. So it's actually going to be sucking more refrigerant in the system. So we are just about halfway there. We're at 10. 11. 14, about another ounce and a half. Alright, so we're at the 15. So we're going to close this valve really quick. Okay. That should be good. Now we're going to take a heat. Now we're going to take a reading inside the car and see how the air actually is going. Coming out of these vents. Okay, we had to pull the car outside so we can get everything running. We got the air pumping on colds, and you can see the temp gauge. It's at 49, and it should probably continue to fall as we're sitting out here. Yeah, you can see it drop 48 and so on and so forth. But anyway, that was your pretty simple and easy air conditioning recharge. And like I said, 80% of the time it's going to be those leaky valves they end up having to replace. But this will get your AC working to better than new. Anyway, Brian from Garage Hall. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Be safe out there.